Have you ever felt that architecture is over-regulated, has too many constraints, and takes forever to build? As a professional architect, I certainly have, because ever since graduating from university, I'm spending a minuscule amount of time designing. This is where Metaverse promises an interesting solution, and that's why I decided to do a little bit of digging to understand what the Metaverse is and how architects can use it to their advantage. So what is Metaverse? Well, Metaverse is a form of internet that is experienced through virtual world. And the term Metaverse is not new. It first appeared in the science fiction novel Snow Crash in 1992, where the term was used to describe a virtual reality version of internet. The important bit about this story is that this concept of the alternative reality was first developed, and where protagonists had the ability to move between these two worlds. Recently, the word Metaverse has become somewhat of a hype, especially because now there is a way to make a profit from it, particularly through buying and selling land with some of the Metaverse platforms. And when it comes specifically to architectural design, Metaverse offers more freedom and less constraint compared to the real world, because the Metaverse doesn't have the two main limitations of the real world, which is physics and economics. In the real world, we're constrained by gravity, that's why we have structures in our buildings, and we're also constrained by the money, which dictates how lavish our designs can be in terms of aesthetics, materiality, and size. But these rules do not exist in Metaverse, so the possibilities of what can be designed are in theory limitless. By the way, if you'd like to see more of this sort of content on Metaverse, then please leave a comment below. And also please hit that like button and subscribe to my channel to show support. So how do we access Metaverse? Well, the experience of Metaverse is facilitated by the use of virtual and augmented reality headsets and devices. However, just like it took internet 30 years to evolve to what it is today, the transition to a fully immersive Metaverse is likely to be very gradual, if it happens at all. During this transition period, we will have a spectrum of possibilities to experience Metaverse, ranging from the least immersive augmented reality technology found on the existing phones, for example, towards the fully immersive virtual reality through the use of goggles and sensory input devices, and maybe even Neuralink-like devices. The basic idea is that we will either experience the virtual reality inside the Metaverse through an avatar, or we will have an augmented reality that's displayed on top of the real world, which we will be able to access through devices like our mobile phones, through augmented reality technology. So how do we design in the Metaverse? And I think the answer to this question is really dependent on how we define the Metaverse, because arguably versions of Metaverse were already in existence for a while. In gaming, for example, we have Minecraft, Roblox, and Second Life, to name the few, all of which already have open world virtual realities. Roblox, for example, offers a huge variety of open world activities to socialize, chat, play, and create. And this is currently unmatched by traditional video games, which are governed by a defined set of rules and a narrative. In Roblox, there is no narrative or rigid game rules, but a huge number of maps and games within a virtual reality framework. Similarly, in social media realm, Instagram and TikTok allow us to put a curated versions of ourselves online for others to see. We can enhance our photos or videos, or even change our faces to show an avatar versions of ourselves online. So with that in mind, if we follow the broad definition of architecture, which is that architecture is all about creating a spatial design, then architects can easily imagine themselves creating architecture in a 3D world. We can design these environments for people to interact, play, socialize, and perhaps even work. And I guess there are two ways practically that architects can design for Metaverse. One would be to work directly for the video game developers, or alternatively we can upload our creations directly into the Metaverse. Decentraland is probably the most well-known and the earliest Metaverse hosting provider online. It can host user-generated 3D environments that can be uploaded directly from a computer onto their servers. And the way it operates, it has this limited amount of spaces, which are basically chunks of spaces. And because there's limited number of these spaces, their value is inflated. There are obviously other metaverses such as Sandbox, Crypto Voxels, Somnium Space, and many others. So in order to design architecture in Metaverse, you can simply use the conventional 3D modeling softwares such as Revit, SketchUp, Blender, 3ds Max. Once you have the design ready, you will then need to convert it into the GIFT format and then simply upload it into the Metaverse of your choice. And some of the Metaverse Metaverse providers will not allow the uploading of an external file, and you might have to use their own proprietary builder inside their metaverse to create your designs. Metaverses which allow an ability to import external files will allow for more creativity and bespoke aesthetics, and because of that you'll be able to model pretty much anything you want. Other platforms follow a certain aesthetical appearance and they look a bit more cartoony, like Roblox for example, which architects might find limiting. Because there are no rules in Metaverse, you can literally like make a 100-story building where each floor is the size of a toilet cubicle. And because there are no physical restrictions, there's no need to worry about the boring technical stuff like the structure, drainage, pipework. All that stuff is not necessary in Metaverse. If you want to make your building more interesting and interactive, you need to add features like openable doors, artwork displays, create gravity, textures and lighting, and perhaps have an ability to sell NFTs as well. There are currently some very important technical limitations in metaverses. Decentraland, for example, limits the maximum polygon count. This means that the computing power that the metaverse hosting services currently have is very limited, and there's no way to represent a fully realistic 3D world through them. And eventually this might change with the growing popularity of metaverses and the exponential growth in the computing processing power as well. At that point, architects will probably be able to design anything they like to any level of detail and realism. So I think there's a huge potential for Metaverse to evolve, the same way it took internet 30 years to evolve from the space of just random blogs to a space where entertainment, play, creation and digital goods and services are all available. And if we take the Metaverse as a 3D version of internet definition, then I think we still have some time to go to reach the same stage as we have currently with the internet. And what is clear as well is, just like internet, which is not defined as a singular item, but rather a collection of websites, technologies, services, business models and interactions, Metaverse is going to be something similar, but we can't take the existing definitions and simply apply them to a new technologies. What Metaverse will have to offer will potentially be much different from what internet is today, and the services that are going to be available on those platforms are going to be beyond what we currently can imagine. Same way that the services that we're currently using with internet were really hard to predict 30 and 20 years ago. If you like this video, then please subscribe and check out some other videos on my channel as well. I'll see you in the next video.